Welcome to the PDX files. Each week we dive into the weird and the unexplained here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. My name is Peej.
And I'm Mac.
Mac, what are we talking about today?
I mean, some kind of crazy stuff going on. The skies overall, I guess, if you look at it really nationwide and around the world. But this is kind of specific to our area in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to look at some UFO sightings that may have been spotted by some actually pretty credible witnesses. Talking about commercial pilots, which they really are some of the best witnesses.
Excuse me, and these are recent sightings, so this should be interesting.
Indeed.
All right, well, as usual, I have not seen this video, so my reactions will be authentic. Here we go.
At least 4 commercial pilots reported mysterious, bright lights zipping through the skies above Oregon this past weekend. On Sunday night, a United Airlines pilot radioed air traffic control after spotting the unexpected lights in the Eugene area.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets. They're all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy.
A Life Flight pilot reported one of the lights was going in circles in a corkscrew pattern and showed up on his aircraft's collision avoidance system.
It's red in color, moving at extreme speeds. I don't even know how to describe how fast it's moving.
So this photo we're looking at is not the actual thing that we saw.
To avoid the UFO out there.
Several brief videos taken by pilots and their crews showed lights in the night sky, but they're difficult to see because of the dark conditions.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, we kind of mentioned at the very beginning, or at least I did, that the folks who are flying our airplanes up there kind of know what they're looking at. And the photo that they were kind of showing for that was not what you would, I mean, that looked like the moon and some stars. I mean, you can kind of tell what that is. What they're talking about is quite a bit different. And again, I think you got to give some credit and some credence to some of the reports by the pilots, because it's just not the first time that these have been seen. It's not just in Oregon, but around the nation, really, the world.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember because, as you know, my memory is pretty shitty and short-term.
Well, you're old. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But did one of them say the target or the targets?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. Mhm.
okay. I was not mishearing that. All right. And I, and again, this is sort of reminiscent of a previous episode that we did that also involved fighter pilots or pilots who were describing something that they could not really describe. I mean, one of the pilots in this recording so far saying at speed so fast, I don't even know how to describe it is what yeah, I think he said.
Right. And these folks are, these guys and gals who are pilots are experienced. They've been up there before. This isn't the first time to the rodeo. So they're seeing stuff that does not make sense, if that makes any sense.
All right.
And so I kind of look at their I view their recollection of the event to be a lot more informed than just like some farmer looking up at the skies like, oh my god, look at that, that might be a site. I mean, it could have been like a satellite. These
Right.
folks know what they're looking at. They know what they're dealing with.
Yep. All right, we'll continue here.
It's weird. It's a red circular shape, and it keeps zipping out towards the ocean and then coming back in about, 20 miles or closer to us, and then it zips back out of the ocean and we can't see it.
2 Horizon Airline pilots also reported seeing mysterious lights,
Shown that photo.
according to air traffic control, who confirmed there was no military activity in the area. So what could it be?
That appears like Starlink satellites, most likely.
Dr. Douglas Bittner led a study examining a similar case involving 5 pilots who spotted bright, moving objects over the Pacific Ocean in 2022. Bittner and his colleagues determined the bright lights were flare from numerous Starlink satellites, launched by SpaceX to provide broadband internet.
And literally all it is it's the sun is hitting the satellite just right, and it's being reflected back into your eye.
He believes the eye-catching lights spotted by pilots over Oregon were most likely satellite flares, although he hasn't ruled out other possibilities.
The problem is that this has been going on for quite a long time. It's not like something new to pilots in the sky. So to me, they wouldn't just like, yeah, that's totally. I mean, or actually, they probably would. Sorry, I meant to say that. They probably was like, yeah, that's probably like Starlink. It wouldn't even be on a viral video if it wasn't something a little bit outside of the norm. If that makes
And
any
the
sense.
and to your point from earlier, these are people in a profession that they have to know what the hell's going on up there. They need to be able to identify things fairly immediately in order to report it verbally and certainly make note of it, and B, be able to respond to it, right? Should it be, I think they'd know if it's a threat or whatnot. And that one of the last recordings there with pilots saying it flew out into towards the ocean and then back at
Yeah,
incredible
that's not
speeds. That's not a
normal.
Starlink,
That's not
and that's not
normal.
a Starlink
Yeah.
satellite flare. Or, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what went up there.
I feel like they would have had enough training and guidance previous to that to understand what that looked like. And yeah, I mean, if you look at that little clip of sort of the Starlink stuff like that, looks kind of weird. But I would have thought that's like something breaking up in the atmosphere. I mean, that
Yeah,
would have been my first kind of thought. And I think that the pilots who were in that, or the pilot at least who's on the video, is sort of like disseminating in a very strong scientific method. He's like, I don't know what this is, but let me just sort of describe it. It's what he
yeah,
was
and
doing.
and a Starlink satellite. Although again, I've not seen what the Starlink satellite does. But is it supposed to go back and forth in a back and forth motion like that?
No, hell no.
I think
It's
it
going to
hit
be in one direction.
one direction, like the band. And so,
The
especially if
terrible band. Yeah.
it's falling, and there's no amount that I can fathom of wind speed that could just push a falling object to go in one direction, then back in the same direction. I mean, in the original direction. It's just crazy.
It's
But,
impossible. Yeah.
but obviously this Dr. Doug Stevens, um, I think that's
It
his name,
sounds like swamp gas to me. Yeah. It says Doug
is
Stevens. I can
having
see U of U, whoever that is.
is
U
having
of
to
U.
is having to just explain something, probably because he's been asked to explain something. All right, well, we'll continue the video here, and for those of you watching this on YouTube, the gentleman on the right of the screen, who is a Channel 8, I think, reporter,
He
Kyle
is
Iboshi. I have
Calaboshi.
been, I
Oh,
have
yeah.
been accused on the light rail transit here in Portland of being. You be the judge. We'll continue here.
In
It
August
looks very serious.
2022, people in Oregon witnessed a string of Starlink satellites moving dramatically across the night sky.
Yeah, that doesn't
Last
look
month,
like UFOs
Pentagon
to me.
director overseeing unidentified anomalous phenomena told lawmakers the Defense Department has seen an increase in reported UAP sightings, especially since satellites such as Starlink were launched.
We do have one example that I'm aware of where we were able to
This is
correlate a
true.
number of observations of interesting lights in the sky, and eventually we concluded that it was multiple people observing Starlink flares.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem with that is that you're talking about a pilot who is trained to look at and observe and know what that means. So to me,
Precisely.
that's a bunch of bullshit.
Precisely. And
I mean,
yeah, and I think that was the delineation that you made early on in this video, is that it's not like a group of farmers from the ground trying to discern what's going on hundreds of feet up, or thousands of feet up into the sky, and describing things out of the not the right context. You know what I mean? So
right, yeah.
especially like if you're trying to judge speeds, and again, these pilots, or at least one of the pilot who was trying to ascertain the speed of whatever he was witnessing flying back and forth, if he couldn't even determine that or take a guess, I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't like he was trying to like jazz it up. It's like, oh, I saw all this kind of crazy. No, he was just like it went out into the sea and then came back. Now I get that could be some sort of like visual, I don't know, some issue with that, but I don't think so. I mean, I think they know what they're talking about and they've seen crazy shit up there, and it probably has a lot to do with science. It has nothing to do with like another the UFO has something to do with science, but I mean, what I'm saying is like it could be explained away, a lot of this kind of stuff. But that wasn't what I got from this kind of report. It wasn't some dude trying to like jazz up UFO. It's like, I don't know what this was,
Right.
and I've not seen anything like this before.
It's funny. I don't know if you were, privy to the comments on the video. But one of the commenters stated, saying it's Starlink is such an insult to those pilots. Absolute.
I think so.
And another says, pilot, it was a red orb that quickly flew to the ocean and back. And then the next line, in quotation marks, expert, it was Starlink. So obviously,
That shows the difference, right? Yeah. Yeah. And I think that you gotta show a little bit of respect to the people who are actually up there. I'm guessing that person who probably both probably haven't been pilots, but at least you got to show a little bit of respect for the people who are out there seeing shit that we don't see on a daily basis,
Yeah.
right? And
yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing we got to take away from this is like it is a fit the actual description of a UFO or UAP. Yes. Could it have been prosaic and you can explain it? Maybe, because we don't have the proof. But I tend to think if the people who are actually up there seeing things who are experts at what their job is, a little bit more credible than wherever that guy was in the basement.
I totally
Maybe
agree.
he wasn't in the basement, but
Well,
maybe.
I think it might have been a hotel, but it also could have been a subterranean level of that hotel. Well,
Indeed.
I concur with you. I mean, it's definitely, I think a lot more credible to hear it from people who have trained to be up there in the sky to see things that we hear, the millions of us who don't see on a daily basis. Um, so yeah, all right. Well, that's cool. Thanks for finding that. If you enjoy this content, please give it a like and share it across your socials to help get the word out about our show. If you hadn't already done so, please subscribe and on YouTube, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time we post a new video. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.